I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies.
Hollywood sold Jim Carrey a dream. You're going to be a big star. This next opportunity is going to be your breakout moment. Keep going, keep performing, keep giving us everything you have. He believed it. He gave them everything. And when he finally reached the top, when he had the money, the fame, the awards, the roles that other actors spent their entire careers chasing, he looked around and felt nothing.
There's no meaning to any of this.
This is not a story about a comedian who failed. It is a story about a man who succeeded completely, who got everything Hollywood promised him, and then had the courage to stand up in front of the entire industry and say, "I see what you are, and I want no part of it." Most people in his position stay quiet. They cash the checks,
but make sure nobody knows they paid us a visit.
Smile for the cameras, and keep their doubts to themselves. Jim Carrey did not stay quiet.
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do.
And Hollywood has never quite forgiven him for it. Jim Carrey is born on the 17th of January, 1962, in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. His father, Percy, is a musician. His mother, Kathleen, is chronically ill, physically and emotionally. From a very young age, Jim understands something that no child should have to understand. It is his job to make his mother feel better, not just sometimes, always. The moment he walks into a room, his job is to lift the weight off her, to make her smile, to convince her by the sheer force of his personality that her life has been worthwhile, that bringing him into this world was worth it. He does impressions. He pulls faces. He makes the people around him laugh. And something locks into place inside him, a belief that would drive him for the next 30 years. If I can make people feel something, I matter. When Jim is 15, his family loses everything. His father loses his accounting job. The family of four, Percy, Kathleen, Jim, and his brother John, move into a Volkswagen van near Burlington, Canada. For a period, Jim and John live in a tent in a public park on the shore of Lake Ontario. This is not a rough patch. This is the floor of what a human life can look like. But Jim has a plan.
I'm going down to Rodney Dangerfield's in New York. I'm going to be playing there.
He has been doing impressions in school for years, making the teachers laugh, making the kids in the hallway stop and stare, and he is convinced, with the kind of conviction that borders on delusion, that he can do this professionally. So at 15 years old, he walks into Yuk Yuk's Comedy Club in Toronto, and they destroy him. Halfway through his set, the crowd turns. He can feel it. And then from backstage, the club manager gets on the microphone. Totally boring. Totally boring. He is 15 years old. He walks off that stage and does not go back for 2 years. When Jim Carrey returns to stand-up at 17, he is different, not more polished, not more confident, but more committed, because the alternative, the van, the tent, the floor of someone else's life is the thing he is running from. And running from something is sometimes more powerful than running toward it. By 1979, he has moved from open mics to paid shows across Toronto.
Actually, in Toronto, I'm going to be playing Alistair's.
The impressions are still the centerpiece. Jack Nicholson, Clint Eastwood, Sylvester Stallone.
Mostly just me.
But audiences are starting to respond in a way they weren't before. And then, in 1981, a writer for the Toronto Star named Bruce Blackadar comes to see him perform. His review the next morning describes Jim Carrey as a genuine star coming to life. Not promising, not funny, a genuine star. Coming to life. That one sentence changes everything. Media coverage follows, demand increases, and by December of 1981, Rodney Dangerfield, one of the most respected comedians in the world, signs Jim Carrey to open his national tour. Canada understood Jim Carrey before anyone else did. In April of 1981, he appears on An Evening at the Improv. In September, his first acting role, a made-for-TV movie called Introducing Janet, draws over 1 million viewers on Canadian television. He is 19 years old. And he has decided it is time to go to Hollywood.
My name is Jim Carrey, and this is my Saturday Night Live audition.
Before Jim Carrey became one of the most famous comedians on earth, Saturday Night Live rejected him 3 times. In 1980, he auditions for the show's upcoming season. He is 17. He is ready. He does not get the part. The spot goes to a performer named Charles Rochet. He goes home. He keeps working. In 1983, he moves to Hollywood. He performs at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, the clubs where comedy legends are made. He is invited to perform on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, which at that point in American television history is one of the most important platforms a comedian can stand on. Then he has a lukewarm night at an improv show. The invitation is quietly revoked. I had kind of a lukewarm night, and then I heard the news that I had lost The Tonight Show. It could have been the end of me, but my brain has always had this failsafe that goes, I don't know how, but it's going to happen a different way. He gets a sitcom, The Duck Factory, a lead role on a network show, a level of opportunity that in 1983 is almost unheard of for a comedian his age. But they cast him as the straight man, the one who sets up everyone else's joke.
That's why we're here, right, gang? I'll follow you anywhere, Mrs. Winkler. What about the rest of you guys?
And within a single season, the show is canceled. He auditions for Saturday Night Live again, fall 1985. He is 23. He is better than he has ever been. He prepares his material. He doesn't even get in front of Lorne Michaels. The producers and senior writers look at his reel and decide Michaels won't respond to it. He is rejected before his audition begins. In the fall of 1986, he tries a 3rd time. No. 3 rejections from the show that had launched the careers of Chevy Chase, John Belushi, Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy. 3 times the door closes in his face. Most people, after The Van, after The Tent, after The Tonight Show, after The Duck Factory, after 3 SNL rejections, most people stop. Jim Carrey does not stop.
You was good.
I never make it in the normal ways. It's always the side window or the basement window or something like that. In 1988, Jim Carrey is cast in a small comedy film called Earth Girls Are Easy. It is not a major production. It is not a career-defining role. But in that film, he meets Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans is the right-hand man of his brother Keenen. And Keenen Ivory Wayans is developing a new sketch comedy show that will change American television. Damon tells Keenen, "You've got to see this guy. He's like silly putty. He can twist himself into anything. He's crazy." Keenen says, "Bring him in." Living Color premieres in April of 1990. It is a sketch comedy show centered on Black and Latino talent that uses humor to take on race, inequality, and celebrity culture in ways that are sharp, provocative, and unlike anything else on television at the time. Jim Carrey is one of the very few white cast members, and he does not blend in. He throws himself into every character with a physical intensity that is genuinely alarming. He destroys his body in sketches. He contorts his face into expressions that shouldn't be possible on a human being. He plays Fire Marshal Bill, a safety inspector whose demonstrations keep ending in catastrophic self-injury, and somehow every time makes it funnier. In Living Color does what Saturday Night Live would not. It puts Jim Carrey in front of 20 million people a week.
I thought you'd never ask.
And those 20 million people cannot look away.
Get off the stage. This is a play, you idiot.
In 1994, Jim Carrey makes 3 films: Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. Not 1 film, not 2, 3. In a single calendar year. Ace Ventura opens in February. It is a film about a detective who specializes in finding missing animals. Nobody expects much from it. It grosses over $100 million. By the time The Mask opens in July, Hollywood is paying attention. A comedy fantasy about a mild-mannered bank clerk who discovers an ancient mask that transforms him into a cartoonish, supernatural wild card.
It's party time!
The Mask makes $350 million worldwide. Then Dumb and Dumber opens in December. The studio offered Jeff Daniels, Jim's co-star, $50,000, hoping he'd turn it down. He accepted. Jim Carrey received $7 million for the same film. Dumb and Dumber makes $247 million against a budget of $17 million. 3 films, 3 hits, 1 year. The industry that rejected him 3 times at Saturday Night Live, that pulled his Tonight Show invitation, that canceled his sitcom after 1 season, that industry now comes back with a very different offer. They want to pay him $20 million for a single film. He becomes the first actor in Hollywood history to receive a $20 million salary, and this is where the story gets complicated. The Cable Guy is released in 1996. Jim Carrey does not play a lovable idiot in it. He plays Chip Douglas, a cable installer who is psychologically damaged, obsessive, and genuinely unsettling.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have come at all. Jerk off!
It is a dark film, intentionally dark.
Why should I help you? I gave you free cable.
Jim's first real attempt to show Hollywood he has more colors than the ones they have decided he has. The critics use his $20 million salary against him. They don't just review the film. They use it as evidence that he isn't worth it, that the money was unjustified, that the risk of hiring him for anything other than broad comedy was a mistake. The film is called a flop. I certainly don't want to play it safe my whole life. I don't want to patronize my audience. This worked, so I better stick with this. That's how you stop growing completely. He goes back to broad comedy. Liar, Liar in 1997, a massive hit, but he has not forgotten what he learned from The Cable Guy, that the industry has a box for him, that the box is profitable, and that the moment he tries to step outside it, the knives come out. He is building a theory about Hollywood, and in 1998, he finds a film that lets him begin to articulate it. The Truman Show is released in June of 1998. It is a film about a man who has lived his entire life inside a television production without knowing it. Every person around him is an actor. Every conversation is scripted. Every moment of apparent spontaneity has been designed by the show's creator, a man named Christoph, who watches from a control room in the sky. The film is a philosophical statement about control, authenticity, and the price of being watched. Jim Carrey sees it as autobiography, not the specific plot, but the feeling. Much like Truman, an actor in Hollywood can become a puppet to the industry. Powerful studios, agents, producers, and executives who prioritize profit over artistic expression dictate the roles actors take. They manage the image. They decide what is acceptable, what is marketable, what is safe. You are a commodity, not a person. The Truman Show makes $264 million. Jim Carrey wins a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, not comedy, for the first time in his career. And at the ceremony, he accepts the award with a speech that is technically gracious but contains, for anyone paying attention, something else entirely. A man who has started to see the machine and is wondering what to do about it.
I'd like to thank my family and the Academy. No, I'm sorry, I was thinking of something else. And no, thank you very much, Hollywood Foreign Press. I will really love this. I'll enjoy it so much, right down to the chewy chocolate center. Thank you.
In 2009, Jim Carrey reads Eckhart Tolle. Tolle is a spiritual teacher who argues at length and with considerable depth that the human ego is the primary source of suffering, that the self you think you are is not real, that underneath every identity, every role, every persona, there is something much larger and much quieter waiting to be found. Jim Carrey wakes up. That is the only way he describes it. He wakes up. I understood suddenly that fear is responsible for, if not all, most of the suffering we experience. And I suddenly felt like I was looking at these thoughts from another perspective. and I wondered, who is it that's aware that I'm thinking? He later gives a speech at Maharishi University that is quoted everywhere and understood almost nowhere.
I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Because everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form.
He is not performing. He is not promoting a film. He is telling the truth. And the entertainment industry does not know what to do with someone telling the truth. In 2014, while promoting Dumb and Dumber 2 on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Jim Carrey does something that divides the audience completely. He delivers a long, apparently serious monologue about secret societies controlling the entertainment industry.
You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is.
He is holding a phone that keeps interrupting him.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I was temporarily interrupted by my iPhone 6 Plus.
By the end, he is advertising the film he came to promote.
What I was really trying to say was I think people will enjoy Dumb and Dumber this weekend.
Some people say it is satire. Some people say it is a breakdown. Some people say it is both. What is certain is that Jim Carrey, one of the highest-paid entertainers in the history of Hollywood, is sitting on a late-night couch and refusing to behave like one. In 2016, he accepts his second Golden Globe and uses the moment to expose the emptiness of the ceremony itself.
You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey going to get some well-needed shut-eye. And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream. I dream about being three-time Golden Globe winning, because then I would be enough, and I could stop this terrible search for what I know ultimately won't fulfill me.
The room laughs because it thinks he is joking. Oh, he is not joking. Then comes New York Fashion Week in 2017. A reporter stops him on the red carpet. She wants to know how he feels about being there, about the celebrities inside, about the icons the event is celebrating. He looks directly.
There is no me.
We're not here. This is a dream?
There's just things happening. And there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
Okay.
The reporter asks,
So what's happening in our world right now?
It's not our world.
None
That's
of this
the
is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through?
matter. We don't matter.
and then the most devastating part of the whole exchange, he smiles.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Okay.
While Jim Carrey was publicly dismantling his own persona and calling out the entertainment industry, something was happening in his private life that was far darker than any philosophical statement. On the 28th of September, 2015, a woman named Cathriona White was found dead in her Los Angeles home. She was 30 years old, an Irish-born makeup artist. She and Jim Carrey had been in an intermittent relationship since 2012. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office ruled her death a suicide by prescription drug overdose. In September 2016, her estranged husband, Mark Burton, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Carrey. The lawsuit alleged that Carrey had obtained and supplied White with the prescription drugs that killed her, that he had done so under a false name, Arthur King, to conceal his identity. That when his assistant discovered through surveillance footage that White had not moved in her home for more than 24 hours, neither the assistant nor Carrey alerted the authorities. In October 2016, White's mother filed a separate wrongful death lawsuit. She alleged that Carrey had given White sexually transmitted diseases without disclosing them, that he had been verbally abusive, that he had used lawyers and fixers to intimidate and silence her. An alleged note from White to Carrey, released as part of the proceedings, read in part, "Before I met you, I might not have had very much, but I had respect. I was a happy person. I loved life. I was confident. And I felt good in my own skin. I met you. You introduced me to cocaine, prostitutes, mental abuse, and disease." Carrey denied the allegations. He said, "What a terrible shame. It would be easy for me to get in a back room with this man's lawyer and make this go away. But there are some moments in life when you have to stand up and defend your honor against the evil in this world." In February 2018, both lawsuits were dismissed. No trial, no public verdict. A settlement reached quietly, out of the public eye. We will not know what happened. We may never know. What we do know is that behind the philosophy and the spiritual awakening and the public statements about ego and identity and the emptiness of fame, there was a woman who is no longer alive and a man who had to live with that. Jim Carrey has not made a major studio film in years. He painted during the pandemic. He made political paintings, sharp and unflattering portraits of politicians, and posted them online without explanation. He appeared in a Sonic the Hedgehog sequel and was, by all accounts, the best thing in it.
Are you in charge here?
Yes, I am.
Wrong. I'm in charge.
But the hunger is gone. Or at least it looks different now. He has said in multiple interviews in recent years a sentence that no one in Hollywood is supposed to say out loud.
I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough.
Jim Carrey grew up in a van. He was rejected by Saturday Night Live 3 times. He lost a Tonight Show appearance because of one bad night. He watched his sitcom canceled, his $20 million salary mocked, his attempts at dramatic acting dismissed, and then, against every logical prediction, he became one of the most commercially successful actors in the history of American cinema. He made The Truman Show. He made Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He gave those performances to people who needed them, and then he sat with what that had cost. He once said, in the speech that everyone quotes but few people actually absorb, "I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer." He was not being cynical. He genuinely meant it as advice. And the tragedy, if you want to call it that, is that the only way to understand what he means is to already be on the other side of it. Most of us will never get there. Jim Carrey did, and he came back to tell us what he found. If this video landed, you already know what this channel is about. Not nostalgia. Not greatest hits, not the version of these stories that the studios want you to hear, the real version. If you haven't seen our video on Chris Farley, a man who chased the same dream as Carrey from the same era and didn't make it out the other side, that's linked below. The 2 stories together tell you something important about what comedy costs. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this with one person who needs to hear it. Because Jim Carrey mattered, not because of Ace Ventura or The Mask or the $20 million check, but because he looked at the machine, understood it completely, and chose to walk away. That takes more courage than anything he ever did on screen.